Welcome to O People of the Book YouTube channel.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله
Oh, people of the Book YouTube channel.
نبرات شعري سطرت لمداد حبري والقلم نبرات شعري سطرت لمداد حبري والقلم نبرات شعري سطرت لمداد حبري والقلم هيا قصائد سائلي قلب النوى ليس الشبم هيا قصائد سائلي قلب النوى ليس الشبم
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulullah. I hope everybody's okay. I hope you've had a nice Eid. Good to see you back. And here we are again on the Saturday, the usual Saturday show from Monogamy to Polygamy. And obviously, there are things that we'll be dealing with again today, and we'll go to the book, and then there's some resources that I found for you. Again, I hope you've had a nice Eid, and I hope you fasted. Those of you who are able to fast, I hope you fasted, and those who are not able, may Allah make it possible for you next time, and maybe you'll be able next time as well. Yeah. So I hope everybody's okay and ready for the show. And whoever is on, whoever's there, if you drop me a salam. And I didn't post what's the name today. I didn't post anywhere that I'm online. Usually I post a link. I post a link from Monogamy to Polygamy, and in different locations, and obviously. Then other people can join in as well. But today I forgot, kind of thing, although I did have some time in my hands. But anyway, just give me a few minutes. Let me just post this while I'm here, while I remember. Okay, there's the usual, our group, our Facebook group, and everything. Those who are subscribed, and there are some who are not subscribed, who can benefit from it. And like I always say, this is for my brothers and sisters, who want to learn more about polygyny. And obviously, I'm here. I'm not a scholar. I'm a student of knowledge, and I'm here to just help my brothers and sisters learn about polygyny. Okay, so going live. Just a minute. And then put the link. At least people know about it. Yeah. Otherwise, people might have wanted to share, but they don't know about it. So anyway, so subscribe, like, and share. Yeah, we're going out on O People of the Book Plus. At the moment, we're going out as well on Consider This TV, the usual channel that I was on, the usual group that I was on. So the usual network. So I'm back on there again now, because, like I said last time, that I'm back on StreamYard. So through StreamYard, we can we can broadcast it to several channels and everything. Okay, having said that, now please subscribe, like, and share. Okay, I have a resource for you. There is a channel, a brother who there is a channel, a brother who is into this, and he's a polygamist himself, and he's got his own channel. And I mean, obviously, like, I'm sharing his work, and his channel is called Outstanding Personal Relationships, and his name is Coach Nadir. Okay, so we're going to go through what he says, and we're going to kind of, like, I hope you enjoy what he says, because I enjoyed them, learning from him as well. He's a brother who's got experience, and I enjoyed learning from him. So we're going to kind of share. Right. Okay. His title here is why Polygyny. Why I was happily married. Why I was happily married of 15 years, and he married again after 15 years. Okay. So what we're going to do is now we're going to go through his channel, and we're going to go through that. So let's hear what he has to say. Let's enlarge this. Okay. So, right.
Relationships, and today I'm going to be addressing the question that we get a lot, or at least that I get quite.
Before we do anything, let me just check my sound to make sure that I'm going out, because usually I am. Yeah, it is going out. Yeah. Right. Okay. So we're sure it's going out. Okay then. Right. So I'd like to say yeah, I'd like to say call a shout out to this brother, Coach Nadir, and I think his wives as well are coaches. So, like, they coach their sisters, and he's coach himself. And alhamdulillah, I learned from I learned from our brothers and sisters as well, whatever I can learn and bring to my audience. So we're gonna go through this and see, okay, what he says. So let's go.
Quite a bit. It comes in different forms, but basically,
okay.
Assalamu alaikum, peace. I am Coach Nadir, one of the co-founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships, and today I'm going to be addressing the question that we get a lot, or at least that I get quite a bit. It comes in different forms, but basically the question goes, as a married man, why would you decide to take another wife? That's usually how the question says. Why do you?
Yeah, usually he mentions something very important. As a married man, why do you want to take another wife? Okay, so that's what the brother is going to deal with today. Okay.
You decide, since you're already married and everything else, and you have a family, why would you take another wife? All right, first of all, just need to let you know for some clarity, I didn't take another wife. I don't think you should take or took in anything with wives. All right, I married another woman, which means I was already married, chose to practice polygyny.
That's a good way to put it. I'm not taking anything. not taking another wife. I'm marrying another lady. I think it is more of a respectable term to put it. Yeah. Why are you taking? You're taking another wife? No, I think the brother puts it very well there. And hats off to him there, the term that he uses, because a lot of people will say, why are you taking another wife? And I prefer this term.
And did marry another woman. Sometimes that take another wife thing sounds weird, and I think the only time I've ever heard that was when my wife was telling me the farmer in the Dale. The farmer takes a wife. Farmer takes a wife. That, yeah. So it sounds like you take a wife. Like, where you take her from? She was kidnapped or something. And sadly, that's kind of some of the history in Europe when it comes to like the best man for the job and all that. They actually just kidnap women and then make them the wife. So nope, I didn't take another wife, but I do know what you mean. Just having a little fun with you. Basically marrying another woman while already being married, or choosing to practice polygyny. Now, just for clarity in terms here, I know that maybe you would consider polygamy to be the same as polygyny. Well, polygyny is just more specified. So here's the thing: polygamy is the general term. Polygamy means having multiple spouses.
Right. A lot
Okay,
of people
so that can apply to men or women.
term.
That's the generic general term. So, but under that umbrella of polygamy is polygyny, which most people discuss polygyny.
Okay, I too prefer to use the word polygyny. This is the broad term polygamy, yeah. But to be specific, that we're talking about the man taking not taking, but getting married to another wife, then obviously we use the word polygyny. Okay, not to confuse, because when you say polygamy, it's that broad window where you've got polyandry, you've got polyamory, things that we don't agree with. Yeah, so we'd rather stick to polygyny. Yeah, as Muslims, would rather stick to polygyny.
More widely practiced than any other form of polygamy, if you will. And polygyny means a man having multiple wives. And in my case, as a Muslim, we're limited to up to 4 wives at one time. And then there's polyandry. That means a woman having multiple husbands. And then there's polyamory. Now, polyamory doesn't necessarily mean there's marriage involved at all. So, being under the umbrella of polygamy, maybe not. There's difference of opinion on that. But polyamory means having multiple lovers. So the male having multiple lovers, the female having multiple lovers, sometimes they share the same lover, all that type of stuff. So that's that category. So just the quick poly doesn't just mean the same thing. And poly means many, but we have to be specific. Specificity is important to me. So polygamy, the general term, multiple spouses. Polygyny is what we're talking about today, man having multiple wives. And again, polyandry, meaning a woman having multiple husbands. In polyamory, everybody having multiple lovers for the most part. Okay. So with that being said, why did I choose to practice polygyny? Well, just a little bit of backdrop. I initially got married when I was 19 years old. I was married for 15 years before choosing to practice polygyny. And now, I'm grateful and humbled to have been practicing polygyny now for 10 years. So I've been married a total of 25 years to my initial wife, or my first wife, as some people will call. I'm just using first and second, just so you know. Incoming or when or whatnot, just for, again, specificity reasons. For 25 years, and then for my second, or the incoming wife, Coach Nyla, for 10 years. So Coach Fatima, 25 years, Coach Nyla for 10 years. So the question.
Like I mentioned, he's married to 2 other coaches, 2 sisters who are coaches. So alhamdulillah, at the same time, they know about polygamy, they teach about polygamy, they help other people about polygyny, about polygyny. So it's something that they know about, and they are helping people about. And I think, this is a very good thing, because a lot of people nowadays are entering into polygyny groups or whatever, and online, to learn about polygyny. And then in these groups, you have the pro and the against. Yeah. And there seemed to be a clash, because there was a lot of people there who don't like polygyny, whether it's a word of Allah, Qala Rasul, then they're not interested. They don't want it there. And what they do is they kind of spread division between the people who like and don't like, you see. Whereas when there's a coach who's actually a coach who's talking about it, who's training people about it. I'm not yet a coach yet. I hope to be one in the future. But I'm taking my knowledge and helping my brothers and sisters as much as I can. So we can see that he's a coach and he's married to two coaches, okay, two sisters who are helping the sisters on the other side. And this is very important there, like, you know, to kind of have these coaches, because like I said, people are going to social media supposedly to learn. And then what they're seeing is a lot of backlash, a lot of sisters who are not, what's her name, pro polygyny in certain groups. And, you know, they're going against Allah's word. I think I did it. I did a couple of weeks ago, where the ulama mentioned that if you are against polygamy itself, polygyny itself, the term that Allah has decreed in the Quran and everything, then you're going towards kufr. Going towards kufr and is haram. But if you know, you have certain dislikes about it, but like, you know, you can't help it, jealousy, you try to fight it, but you know, you try to accept it as well at the same time, but you're not against it completely, then you know, it is acceptable. Yeah. So this is why, like, you know, when you have these coaches, alhamdulillah, they can give us more outline about it. So anyway, so let's carry on. The brother's talking of some very important things. I'd like to remind you again that his website is Outstanding Personal Relationships, and this is Coach Nadir. Shout out to him. Alhamdulillah, you know, he's. I've learned some things from him. Anyway, so let's go back and carry on with him.
Why would a man want to marry more than one wife? That's actually a very good question. And what I mean by that is not the drivers behind it, but many times people relegate it to just sex. They think, oh, well, you know, polygyny or a man wanting more than one wife, oh, it's just about sex. He just wants to fulfill his desire.
Right. This is something that I usually mention. No disrespect to the man or whatever. We've got a certain, unless those of us who are experienced in sex, and like you who you know, can make it work and everything, maybe will last usually a bit longer than the usual, but the average man, yeah, would last about 3 to 5 minutes or whatever. Yeah. So if it was only for sex that he's getting married to another woman, well, you know, doesn't seem to be a good idea, does it? Because the rest of the time, what is he going to do? You know, unless, like I said, a man who's like, you know, working out and he's got plenty of testosterone, he's got you know, high libido, high sex drive, and he's like you know, all the time, you know, more than once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week or whatever, he's active in it, then fine. You know, no problem. Then yes, we can say that, like, he's marrying if that's the reason he's marrying for sex. Otherwise, you know, I wouldn't put that as a main reason. Although for many people, yes, it could be the reason. And then there's some people as well who think that, yeah, they're marrying for sex, and then when they marry that second lady now, they think they're disappointed because their performance is not as good as they wanted. Maybe they're not getting it from that side, and they try to take it from a sister from this side, and we don't know. I'm just saying, like, you know. So advice that I would give to you is to work out, you know, go to the gym, run, and whatever age you are or whatever, look after yourself, look after what you eat. And if you have some good supplements, you know, ashwagandha, yeah, like, you know, the other one is what do you call that? Forgot the name of it now. But anyway, although I take it, I forgot the name of it. But yeah. So and Shilajit, for those of you who can take Shilajit as well, it helps in the building of muscles, and it helps with the you know, the partner as well, kind of thing. Yeah. So these types of things are important, rather than just relegate it to, oh, he's getting married because of sex. Not a lot of men can actually perform that well. Yeah? So I just thought I'd put that out. Let's get back to.
But let me ask you this question. Do you need to be married? Are most people married in a society that are having sex?
It's another thing as well. There's a lot of zina going on. So people don't need to get married to have sex. Today, you see people like, even Muslims. Very sadly enough, you see a lot of Muslims who could marry, but because maybe they can't afford the mahar, they can't afford the to be the responsibility or whatever. So what they've decided is to go into zina instead. Yeah. So you don't have to be married to have sex. He's explaining. Okay. So.
Right. All right. So to just dismiss it or relegate it to something for sex, I mean, think about the first marriage. Do you say when a friend wants to get married, you're like, oh, you just want to have sex with her, huh? Or oh, you just want to have sex with him, huh? Nah. See how dismissive it can be when you just say that's the same thing. We're talking about a marriage. Marriage in polygyny in particular is the only form of poly that's family building. Family building. Okay. So that means
that is wait. Yeah, that is very, very important, because usually when you talk to non-Muslims, yeah, when they talk about this type of thing, rather than say, Prophet Muhammad married Aisha, the first thing they go to, your prophet had sex with a 9-year-old girl. Abraham had sex with Hagar, as if there was no marriage in between. You see, our way of doing things is you make it legal, you make a marriage in it. But their minds, their one-track mind, when they think of it, that's all they know about sex. Abraham had sex with Hagar. This is why Ishmael, according to them, this is why Ismail alayhi salam is, according to them, is illegitimate, but in their books it says she was taken as a wife. So I just wanted to point that out, because there's a difference between just having sex and marriage. Marriage is building a family. Yeah, it's building a family, and this is the term that they use usually in the Arab sense is bana. Yeah, bana. You're building like a family here. When you're getting married, you're building a family. Your family meets her family, and together, your parents, her parents, and there's some interaction going on. You'll visit one another for Eid. You'll this type of thing. So it's not just an issue of sex. It's an issue of marriage, building a family, and building the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because this is one of the main reasons that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us to get married, to build his ummah. Obviously, So anyway, let's go.
You're talking about building a family. Well, in particular, everyone knows who, when children come about, everyone knows who the father is of the child. Again, there's no multiple men and stuff like that going on in polygyny. So one, the father is. Two, the men provide this protection and honor and equality amongst the wives. There's no, you have this hierarchy because you've been here longer, and you have this because you haven't been here, and so on and so forth. They're equal. They're wives, and they're.
That's very, very important. The issue of not because they've been here longer that you have to treat this one this way, you have to treat that one that way. No, there's equality between both of them, and that this is something that I need to specify much more, because there's a lot of brothers where we're reading in the groups and everything how once a brother gets married and he mistreats the first one, second one comes in, and there's a lot of issues and everything with them, and because of mistreatment. When we say first and second, we don't mean them in hierarchy. We mean the position that we took them in. Like this one, we took we married her one tie back, so she came first in chronology, and the next one, we married her afterwards, so she comes second in chronology, not in importance, not in hierarchy or whatever. We have to bear that in mind, because a lot of brothers make that mistake, and they mistreat their wives and everything, and something we shouldn't do.
To be treated as such, whether the current country may recognize it or not. This was made lawful far before the inception of certain countries, and most countries on the planet right now. So it's one of the oldest forms of marriage. It's only monogamy.
Okay, right. Something important here as well. A lot of brothers have asked me. Yeah, I think I answered that in one of the previous shows as well. And a lot of brothers have written in the groups and everything, in such and such country, polygyny is not legal or whatever. Even the what's the name? Even the first nikah is not recognized in the other countries, in any European country. Even the first nikah is not recognized. So for them, it's just a religious ceremony. Sorry, my glasses, something on my glasses. Yeah, it's just a religious ceremony. That paper is a ritual. The paper that you get, the contract, the contract of marriage. For them, it doesn't mean anything. Okay, so if one doesn't mean anything, when you're getting two, it doesn't mean anything to them unless you're going to them now and saying, look, I've got one that I've done civil marriage to and I want to do this second. No, that's not going to be accepted, obviously. Yeah, because you've done the one civil marriage, you cannot do the second civil marriage. But if you're doing polygyny Islamic way and you're doing your nikah, which us in front of Allah, the nikah is much more has more value than the civil marriage. At the time of the Prophet ﷺ, there was no civil marriage. At the time of the Sahaba, our grandparents, our great-great-grandparents, there was no civil marriage. That came in after a while, after the colonizers or whatever brought into us. Yeah. So you have to realize that when you're thinking, the law of the land doesn't accept it, they don't accept the nikah as well. You can't bring your wife into the land if you're living in a foreign country, a European country, and you want to bring your family. You have to show the civil marriage. Yeah, you have to have proof of the civil marriage. If there's no civil marriage, they're not going to accept the nikah papers unless there is a body that is government recognized or whatever that is doing it, and you got nikah under them or whatever. Apart from that, no, they don't recognize it. So if they don't recognize it as one, they shouldn't recognize it as two. Then, so why should it be illegal? How can it be illegal? You see. Something that is not recognized cannot be illegal. Okay, so and this is what I learned about it. So anyway, so let's carry on. Okay, so yeah, right.
We've been knowing for the last few hundred years. Okay, in general, just to be real, monogamy is really to protect the man. It's not really to protect the woman. You might ask, what do you mean monogamy, man? One man, one woman. It's to protect the man and what he does. So when you look into it, you recognize this whole Greco-Roman structure, this European structure, is about one legal wife. So one legal, meaning this is the only one you have to take care of, and any children that come from that's what you're legally responsible for. But monogamy does not prohibit having an unlimited number of concubines, girlfriends, boyfriends, mistresses, jump downs.
Exactly. This is one thing that I've been trying to point out from before. Those who are in monogamous marriages, nothing stops them from having girlfriends. Nothing stops them from having mistresses. Nothing stops them from having bits on the side or whatever. So they say they're in monogamous marriages, but at the same time they've got girlfriends, they've got mistresses, they have whatever. So what we do that girlfriend, supposed to be girlfriend, we make it legal, we make it halal, yeah, because Islamically we cannot touch a woman who is not halal. So what they are doing, they're preferring. I think I gave a few examples. I brought a lot of examples before in different books that I got and in different names that I showed, different resources that I played as well. That they prefer to take there was a TED Talks, there was a TED Talks and everything. They prefer to take the haram side of it, where they have one wife and several girlfriends. One wife and several girlfriends. Whereas in Islam, you have one wife, okay. And you have other, if you can afford it, you have other wives as well, who are not girlfriends, who are legally to you they are legal, to Allah they are legal. Yeah. So we have to be very careful in that, we don't follow their ways of doing things. We don't follow their ways of doing things because, like the brother has explained now, they are monogamous. They marry one woman, but they have plenty of girlfriends.
Whatever you want to call them on the side, which again denigrates women. And biologically speaking, this is not a whole thing about polygyny versus monogamy.
Now, the other thing I wanted to say is you see a lot of women today who are who have several several baby daddies. Okay, several baby daddies, nothing for them. They can have several baby daddies, 1, 2, 3, 4. They can have several baby daddies, but they don't want to make them halal. They don't want to these baby daddies are happy to go around and give a child to one woman here, give a child to another woman here, give a child to another woman, but to make it halal, no. You see, this is the problem. You see, now us as Muslims, we're giving dignity to that woman. We're giving her honor by marrying her. You see, and this is one thing that, we have to praise Islam for, because whenever they want to attack Islam, they will say Islam oppresses women or whatever, and So there you go. Anyway. Yeah, so we've got somebody on here called Wesley Curry who says Jesus told you to tell the vision. Jesus didn't tell me anything, brother. If you want, this is a different subject you're bringing up. We're talking about polygyny here, and I think you're on the wrong channel. Maybe you went to the wrong channel. Maybe if you can move on to something else, unless you've come here to listen to learn about polygyny. Otherwise, Jesus didn't say anything to me, and Jesus, he's a prophet to me. He's he didn't come to rule my life. But anyway, so we'll move on. We'll move on to what the brother is saying.
Because if you know anything about outstanding personal relationships, you know that we are pro morals. So we support marriage and a nuclear family structure where a man is a husband and a woman is the wife. Okay, we want to make sure morals are practiced. That raises our level of character. That's unquestionable. Really, no matter whose agenda or different people are trying to change that, we believe in a nuclear family. And polygyny just expands that family role, if you will. The challenge is our conditioning can be so strong against it because society has, my knight in shining armor is coming to rescue us and so on and so forth. But the fact of the matter is, if every man married
Right. My knight in shining armor. That is something that has been drummed into the brains of the sisters. When they look at a man, they expect him to be from a fairy tale. And we're not perfect. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not create us perfect, so she cannot be expecting a knight in shining armor to come and come and save her, rescue her, or whatever. We've all got our faults. We've all got our good in them. And the thing is, there are a lot of good men out there that are being left out because the sisters are looking for Mr. Perfect. While they're looking here for Mr. Perfect, the what's the name are there. So the good men are there. So this is one thing that's been drummed into the sisters' mind since they were small. The knight in the shining armor, the princes, come to knock you off your feet and stuff like that. And this is what's been portrayed in Disney. You're a princess and stuff like that. I don't mind calling my daughters princesses. I do call them princesses. My granddaughter as well. But we know what term we're talking about. Not a term that she's going to refuse all good men. She's going to wait for the prince to come and knock her off her feet. No, that's not the way we believe in it. Anyway,
available woman, there will still be millions of women unmarried in the U.S. today, even though Islam legislated over 1,400 years ago. It restricted polygyny to only 4 wives. Islam didn't come with polygyny. Polygyny has been practiced far before by the most righteous individuals and people.
Okay, this is something that I mention all the time. I mention this all the time. A lot of people want to come to Islam. They're coming and saying, I want to know about Islam, but because of that is their main cause. Because of polygyny. No. Islam didn't invent polygyny. Go back and look at your history. Go back and look at the history of the different religions. I had a show recently when I went into these books, several books written by Christians themselves, who are telling you that monogamy is a lie, basically, a myth. Yeah. So the brother is touching on that as well now.
People that have ever existed, the prophets. And even when you look at Prophet Suleiman or Solomon in the Bible, they say he has 700 wives, 300 concubines. Now, of course, nothing like that is allowed. But Solomon was, I remember when I used to be Christian, that he was also considered to be the wisest man that ever lived. Perhaps being able to deal with such things as 700 wives also attributes to why he could have been considered one of the most wise men that ever lived. I don't know. But back to why. Well, it's relatively hard to explain why to a woman. There's many different reasons. There are many different reasons as a driver, but I just want to let you know right up front, the myth that, oh, it's just for sex. Now, you don't need to get married for sex. Now, if you're going to be moral and have moral standards, yes, absolutely. But when it's called extramarital affairs, when they talk about over 80% of marriages have infidelity, when we know that marriage fails the majority of the time, monogamously is well over 50%, polygyny.
Okay, that's another good point as well. Monogamous marriages are failing. Not polygyny, monogamous marriages. The amount of divorces that are taking place, they are monogamous marriages, not polygamous. Yeah, and you will find that a lot of the polygynous marriages that I've heard of, they've worked out, because that brother and that sister now, that sister joined a new family, and they tried a way to make it work out. Yeah, unless, from the beginning there was some issues, the brother didn't tell his wife or made it secret and stuff like that. But if it's something done according to the Quran and Sunnah, the contract done according to Quran and Sunnah, the marriage should last with the blessing of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. With the blessings, it is something that has blessings in there. Yeah.
There's no numbers or statistics on it because most people are private. And we were private for a number of years.
Yes.
So we decided,
Exactly. A lot of people now are beginning to come out about polygyny. Yeah, even the non-Muslims have a couple of times. I've shown you the videos of non-Muslims who are openly in polygyny, and now they're making it open and everything. But a lot of people kept it quiet because of the stigma that was around it and everything, and But now people are coming out about it, because they're seeing that there is a need for it. This is the thing that we have to bear in mind now, the need for it. It's not something that it's not a game that we can play. No, there is a need, an urgent need for it. And you have to know that the wisdom of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala to bring us something for the sisters who in the end, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it, regulated it to 4 at the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, look at what is happening now. Look at what is happening now. The amount of divorces, the amount of, the rates of men being killed, the amount of women over men. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is wise in his thinking. So for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it halal, I done the show again about what Allah made halal and what Allah made haram. What is haram, He made it haram for us. But for sisters to kind of turn around and say, no, they hate polygyny and everything, that's saying that Allah made them the wrong decision and, made the wrong thing halal for us. So the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it halal for us, for our sisters, this is what I'm trying to convince our sisters. There's a lot of things that you need to look into before just throwing away polygyny. There are so many good men out there. And it may be that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent these good men for you. I don't know.
So it will benefit more people to be able to help and show how to build a polygynous union after going through the roller coaster of emotions, the ups and downs, and really trying to figure this thing out and recognize there wasn't much support. So we decided to become more public and allow other people in, and when people are asking different questions and helping them out and really finding some solutions to their challenges.
Right, like I said earlier on, he is a coach and his wives are coaches as well, and they're helping our brothers and sisters out. Again, I like to say shout out to the brother and his and the sisters as well, his wives and everything, because they're doing a good job. Remember, this is the brother's website is Outstanding Personal Relationships, and this is Coach Nadir. His name is Coach Nadir. So if you give him a like and subscribe, maybe like me, you'll learn a lot from him as well. Yeah, if he's a coach, then you will learn from him as well. And for the sisters, maybe you'll learn from his wives as well.
We felt obligated to do so, but since most are private, we have no idea what those numbers are. It could be more, it could be less. Allah knows best. We don't know. So there are a number of things. There's a need for family. Does it need to be a whole human being? Now, the question comes for the man. The man says, okay, well, my first wife is upset, mad, and, she's threatened to leave me and the kids and stuff like that. And, what should I do? The fact is, I don't know. And it depends. It really depends on your circumstances and your situation. If you are not a fair individual, if you're not a just person, then you don't need to be considering polygyny anyway. You need to work on yourself and personal growth to expand and become more than twice the man that you currently are, to deal with new situations and dynamics. Because when it comes to emotions, if you can't
Okay, right. That's a very important thing. We need to work on ourselves as men. We need to work on ourselves. We cannot, like, take a decision to enter into a different family or whatever, bring a different family in us, and we ourselves, we don't practice the deen properly. We're not fair. We're not going to be fair. Remember, brothers, it is us who are going to stand in front of Allah on the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah, not the sister. The sister, if you'd like, she will have to answer in front of Allah for certain things that she done. Yeah. But if we do injustice, remember, injustice, then we are the ones who are going to stand in front of Allah. So we have to be fair and just to both of them. 2, 3, 4.
can't deal with one roller coaster of emotion that comes from a wife, should try to deal with two, because you're going to get it on both sides. Yeah. The emotional roller coaster and all of that. You may have an incoming wife that's jealous of the amount of time you've been around. The first might be saying, okay, am I insecure, or did I do something wrong, or what's going on, or how come he has the desire for someone else? Look, here's the facts. The fact is, men will never be able to understand how it feels to have menstrual cramps, or absolutely not be able to feel what it's like to give birth.
Absolutely. Very, very good. Very, very good thing here. Yeah. We are built differently. I keep repeating that all the time. We are built differently. The ladies are built differently, and the man doesn't know how it feels to get menstrual cramp, and doesn't know how it feels to be a man. Even he's going through that anyway.
Just like women will never be able to understand what drives a man to want to marry more and expand his family. That's really king talk. Can you love more? Yes, you can love more. I said, well, can you really love two women? Yes, you can. Can you be in love? Yeah, you can. There's no limit to love and try to box it up. Think about if you've ever had children. And I know it's not the best example, but it's one of the closest ones we can think of. A body growing inside you. You have this child. Your first child is your everything. And you spend all of this time and this effort and this love and all of that's there. But then when you have a second child, does the love of your first one diminish? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But can that first child be jealous of the second child? Yeah, absolutely. Or you have 4 or 5 children. I have 10 biological children and 2 bonus children. There's sibling rivalries and some things that I like more about some children and some things I don't like, that they do. We're humans. But the main thing is, if you are the quality type of brother, if you are the man for the job, if you're the one that's just and you're fair, then obviously your wife should be concerned. She should have a natural, normal jealousy of you anyway, like you have a natural, normal jealousy of her, and not putting her on display for others. So why? I love women in general. I do. That is me. Oh, I love women, so let me just go and
okay. So that is what the Prophet ﷺ mentioned. Yeah, he mentioned that he had the things that he loves is perfumes and women. Yeah, this is one thing a man cannot take from himself. He cannot remove that from himself. Allah has put that in us. There's some of us who love attar a lot. I used to create my own perfumes. I used to create my own scents and everything, buy different perfumes and mix them and everything, because I had that love for perfumery in me. Yeah, and obviously the love of women. Every man has the love of women, and the Quran even mentions it. So anyway,
myself, no, not at all. You have to be self-disciplined. But I know that far too many women in our society today, like 500 years ago, like 1,000 years ago, like 5,000 years ago, and like will be 100 years from now, they're being abused in society, not being taken care of. They have very few.
Very important, because the Prophet ﷺ, when he was dying, even on his deathbed, he kept saying, look after the women, look after the women. If it wasn't that important to look after the women, then why would he say that? Okay, why would hadith come out that there's going to be a time where one man is going to look after 50 women? So all this, we have to put all this together. Like the brother said, it 5,000 years ago, 1,000 years, 2,000 years, 500 years ago, whatever. It is the same, and it's going to be the same in the future as well. And things are going to get worse in the future. You see the situation being emasculated. There's a lot of men who are turning gay. There's a lot of men who don't want to get married. A lot of men in prison. A lot of men are getting killed. So the sisters they're going to be alone. Who's going to look after them? Who's going to marry them? If we think of like oh, leave it like leave them as they are, then who's going to look after them?
Options. When I look at, first of all, I'm a man, a black man in America, a Muslim man. So when I look at, and I have 5 daughters that I'm responsible for and helping them get married. When I look at the prospects are slim. One, you have to deal with someone knowing your culture. Then you have to deal with society and these homosexuality being rampant and being pushed as though it's normal, the whole transgender thing, agenda and everything else. Then you have incarceration. So there are a lot of challenges. Then you have those who just aren't fit. You have domestic violence. You have drug use. You have men that are boys in men's bodies.
That's something very important. Yeah, men get married and they're not ready to get married. They're boys in men's bodies. Yeah, and this is why there is clash and there is divorce. There is all sorts of things because nowadays there's a lot of them that don't have experience and they were raised by their mother and the mothers raised them and oh, okay, yeah, the mothers do a very good job in raising children, but they weren't raised with fathers. A lot of them were not raised with fathers and they don't have them. They don't see how their father treats women and everything, and they end up being, like you said, boys in men's bodies or whatever.
Okay. So there are a lot of things that women are, that are a huge disadvantage of, let alone they're just being more women physically on the planet than men. So they have a smaller pool to pull from. So seeing the wisdom of Al-Hakim, the wise, the all-knowing Allah Ta'ala, and seeing how this was structured as polygyny being structured back then, 1400 years ago, and restricting it to up to 4, even though it was already practiced, to now and how it still applies to today is amazing. And it's a massive solution for many of the challenges we have in society today. Many people are stepfathers. They stepped up to the job where other fathers weren't available or not around, or, their daddy issues and other challenges and stuff going around. Men, real men, that step in and step up and can take care of a family and can provide for a family should do so. At the expense of, because I get this question too, well, do you know your first wife is going to be hurt and this and that? Yes. Did I want to see her hurt and all that stuff? No, not at all. But I had to do what I needed to do as a man to help console her, to help reassure her and our children that the love for your mother is not diminishing whatsoever.
That is a very good point as well, yeah, because a lot of women think that when a man gets another wife is because he hates his first wife, or she's done something wrong or whatever. We spoke about that in a couple of lessons ago, that it's not her. She shouldn't have this low self-esteem. It's not her. The brother still loves his wives. The man who's going to get married to another wife, he still loves his wife. But it's just something he needs to do, build another family. And I hope people will understand that. I hope that our sisters would understand that. That this is the way Allah created us. We are men. We are providers. We are providers. We are protectors. And if you've done a good job, you've protected one family, what's wrong with doing the same with another family? Yeah. So we have to take it this way.
Held me down. It came through stuff when I was a kid. There was no beard. There was no grays. There was little mustache kind of coming through, 14 years old. You know what I'm saying? So that's not diminished because you decide to marry again. No, I heard it explained one time by a brother that he said, you know what? When I'm asked the reason why I decided to marry another wife, I said, listen, she made marriage so good for me, I want to do it again and again and again. Now, I know what he was trying to say, and that doesn't necessarily bring any comfort to any sisters whose husbands may be looking at marrying another wife or whatnot. But your marriage can be good and great. There's nothing lacking, and you still desire to marry another woman. All right?
Exactly, yeah. So your marriage may be good, maybe great, and you decide to marry again. So sisters have to kind of be convinced that it's not them, it's not them, and also try not to take that as something that oh, he's got a perfectly good marriage and he's getting married again, so I'm going to ask for divorce or whatever. No, then that means that you are the one who's wanting to destroy the marriage.
That really is what it is. There's no, I've heard many different reasons people did choose to do so. And that doesn't mean just because there's such a lack that you go after certain women who are in certain positions, or polygyny is only here to save the lowly woman. No, that's not the case either. She could be a virgin, never married, and you decide to marry her as an additional wife. She could be a single mom. All right.
That's one thing as well, but I would advise brothers who are already married to a virgin not to take a virgin wife, because, like, obviously you've got one. I personally, this is my personal belief here. What are we going to do with the divorcees and the widows that are out there? If all our brothers decide, oh, I've already got one wife that I'm married 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 9 years, 10 years ago, or whatever. She was a virgin. Now I'm going to take another virgin. Okay. When other brothers, virgin brothers, are getting difficulty finding sisters. So I personally, would say that, like, leave these sisters for the virgin brothers who've not been married before. There are personal reasons because of that as well. The fact that the woman has been married before, and she knows, she has experience in marriage, has experience in sex, even, whereas this new kid on the block who's going to get married doesn't know. He's new and everything, so it's better that he takes a wife on his level. Yeah. Whereas this brother who's already married, he's got experience as well, and if he's going to take a wife who's got experience, and it's better for him rather than take a wife who doesn't have experience. So this is my personal belief, because I'm trying to say that, there's a lot of sisters out there who need husbands. A lot of reverts are coming into Islam. They need husbands. And one thing I'd like to advise the brothers here: if you do get married to a revert, please don't abuse her. There's a lot of brothers who marry reverts just to get nationality, and then afterwards they leave them. Not until you have the knowledge of deen, that you're going to teach that sister. You're going to bring her into the deen. She'll be praying behind you. You'll be showing her, how to do wudu, how to read the Quran. You'll be reading hadith and everything to her. You'll be teaching her her deen and making her grow. Then don't take a sister who's new revert. Maybe a sister who's been a revert for a while or whatever. Maybe you can do that, but depending on your knowledge as well. Not because she's a revert, or you can get nationality from her, whatever. You're going to get married to her, and then you're going to leave her. You won't want to do that to our sister, whether she's a revert or not. She's a Muslim. Yeah. So remember that. If you have the knowledge of Islam, if you know you can do it, if you're a teacher yourself, if you're you've done courses, you've attended courses, you're a coach or something, then fine. You can take a new revert, build her up, teach her and everything, build her. Then that's fine.
She could be a single mother. Yeah, single mother. She could be a single mother with children. She could be a divorcee. She could be a widow. Many of these different things. All right. The thing is that you practice it honorably and noble. That's what kings do. Keeping mess between each other? No. You have to protect your family on the inside and out. Protect their heart inside and out. Protect the emotions. You have to protect your mind. You have to provide inside and out. That takes leadership stuff. So why did I choose to practice polygyny? Because it will make me more. Was it an easy decision to make and an easy transition? No. Hands down, no, it wasn't. That's why we share best practices with you on our website. Again, go get our report, 5 Keys to a Fulfilling Marriage, especially in polygyny. OutstandingPersonalRelationships.com. Go get it. Download it. It's yours for free. Check it out. All right. We have hundreds of hours of video here on YouTube. We got it on, Facebook and whatnot as well. Our Instagram is Outstanding Relationships. You can connect with us. We want to give out that positivity to the world, because it's not easy, but it's absolutely worth it when you're doing it right. So why did I? To become more. How can you make your decision if you're choosing or concerned or have the option to marry another? Well, you have to determine whether or not it's worth it, because maybe it isn't. Maybe you have the woman that's threatening to take the kids and she's going to do it, or divorce you and everything else. But you have to weigh it out. Are you willing to say, okay, everything I built here and all this kind of stuff, that'll just go, and I'll marry again, and we'll see what where the cards fall? Or are you gonna say, okay, well, if that's the case, then maybe you're not the woman for me. We can do whatever we need to do legally, kind of structure things out with kids and visitate. It's sad, but this is the reality that we deal with sometimes. And I'm gonna marry again because this over here may be resentment. What if I'm with you for 5 years, for 10 years, you don't want to practice polygyny, and I didn't do it because of you, even though you have the authority as the man to make the decision? How close do you think you're gonna be? How fulfilling do you think your marriage is going to be after that? Well, you want to do something that is lawful, do something that is noble, do something that is needed in society. And maybe someone is willing to marry you. There's women that are willing to marry brothers that are good brothers no matter what. So maybe that option is there on the table, but it's been taken off the table because of the jealousy of a wife or immaturity of a wife, or she's just knowing that you're not able to really handle it and your ego is getting in your way and you think you can because you haven't grown to who you need to be. You have to determine what's more. I'll live with either this resentment over here, or I'll just go ahead and give up the idea. It's no big deal. I mean, which is fine. Again, pro morals. But the reason I did it, I wanted to become more. I wanted to experience more of Islam. This is a part of it. I want to experience that. I want to grow a family. I know I'm an outstanding father. I'm much different than whom I came from. I was intentional in it. So,
like he mentions here, there are many of us who are outstanding fathers, who have married, the children have got married, and they've stood there and married their children out, and they've got experience and all that. They're outstanding fathers when their children are growing. They gave them the akhlaq, they gave their children the deen and everything. So, to be an outstanding father to one family. And you can do it with another. To be an outstanding husband, you can do it with one and do it to the other as well. It's very important.
Now, again, I'm not being flippant, not being egotistical at all. But I knew that I learned by mentors and personal growth about leadership, about family, about being intentional, about aligning my values. And I want to have a dynamic family because we came from kufr or disbelief to Islam and Iman to this deen. This changed my entire life, my outlook, my perspective. And I know that many of my ancestors prayed as they came through from Northern Africa and different parts as Muslims through this whole Middle Passage to be sitting here in this country, to have your names and your history and your culture and your religion raped away from you. Many of them prayed for their children, their descendants to return to this deen. And alhamdulillah, all praise and thanks belong to Allah that we did. We became Muslims again. And I want to experience that Islam. And I don't just want to experience it in one generation. I want it to go deep into the last day. And in doing so, then you need to have a family. You need to be a strong family. You need to be anchored in it. So that is the reason I chose it. Now, you consider it noble, you consider it not noble. It doesn't matter. There's no wrong reasons.
Okay, the other thing I need to mention, this is this brother's reason, right? There may be other reasons as well. There may be reasons that, personally to you, your wife might not be getting might not be giving children, and she's happy that you take another wife. That's not a problem. This is this brother's reason. There are others who specifically are taking other wives because they're not getting the intimacy. What they need to get from their first wife. The first wife knowing that she has to give you that intimacy, but she's not, she's not fulfilling that. And, rather than break up that marriage because she's not giving you intimacy, you keep her, you look after her. She's been good to you all the time. She'll look after you for so many years. And if another sister can give you more intimacy, can give you more love or whatever, then fine. That's your reason. This brother's got his reason. Other brothers, might have other reasons. The brother's reason, is his reason, and also, maybe it's an issue of family as well. There are some people who I had a friend of mine who was married. He fell in love with a girl in university. British girl, and he wanted to marry her, and his family said, no, you have to marry our culture. A Pakistani girl, So he married to the Pakistani girl to please his family, and then halfway down the line, a few years down the line, he got married to that sister from university as well. I don't know how well they've been doing. I haven't seen them for years because I made hijrah to where I am at the moment. But that was his reason. See, that was his reason as well. So we all have different reasons. Anyway, there's only 2-3 minutes left of this now. Let's go through it, and then we can go through the book. I'd just like to remind you that we've gone through the 1 hour mark, and you're watching O People of the Book. We're broadcasting on my channel, and we're broadcasting on Consider This TV as well. And for those of you who are not subscribed, please subscribe to all our channels. Subscribe to my channel and subscribe to the channels of the brothers who are around. Like and share. This is a very important subject, and it would be good if you can share it with other brothers and sisters.
But choosing to marry again, somebody he really likes and is very attracted to, fine, that's a good reason. You must be fair and just. There's blessings in that.
Another reason, again, like I'd like to mention, maybe if the wife is not kind of like fulfilling her duties, and you can end up falling in zina. It's very, very important. A lot of sisters don't think about that. A lot of sisters don't think that, my husband could fall in zina because I'm not looking after him. I'm not giving him his haq. But I don't want him to go and take another wife. He has to stay there like a bird in a cage, stuck there. No, he can end up going and ending up in zina, doing zina that you will be questioned for on the day of judgment, and he will be questioned for. That's a very important issue there. The Quran tells us, "La wala taqrabu zina." Don't even go near it. Don't even go near it. So if we can, get a wife who is legal for us, then obviously, we're not going to go into the zina. But if our wives are pushing us. If our wives are pushing us by not giving us our rights, by not fulfilling for any reason whatsoever that she's doing that, then obviously you're pushing your husband to go to zina, and he will have to answer on the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah. So wouldn't you prefer that he does it legally, that he does it halal, than having to answer in front of Allah on the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah?
Yeah. We know that the Prophet ﷺ said he left nothing with more fitna, challenging trials and stuff in it for men than women. It is what it is.
Fitnat al-Nisa, one of the biggest fitnas that we're being left with. And today you open up your phone, you turn on your phone, and it comes straight in your face. It comes straight in your face without you even asking for it. You click a medical page just saying there's such and such medicine or whatever helps you with this or whatever. When you click on it, it says learn more. When you click learn more, that's all that's in there. Fitnat al-Nisa. And even worse, there's sometimes you see something available, you want to buy it online, you click on it, what's advertising? Fitnat al-Nisa. See, so these are very, very, very important things that we have to realize. And the brother raises a good point here again.
And when it comes to, can't you just be satisfied with one? Prophet also said if man had a mountain of gold, he want another one.
Yes.
There's nothing that satisfies the son of.
Another good point. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already told us that, if a man had a mountain of gold, he was going to want another one and another one and another one. So, that's the way Allah created us. We can't change that.
Adam, except dirt, meaning that we're dead. We want more. And let's flip that around. So sometimes I ask the sisters, do you have enough pair of shoes? What about bags? You got enough, or it's just another one that's out there? We're humans. We want more. That doesn't necessarily mean you're greedy. What matters is if you're just and you're grateful and you're being a person of high character while you develop yourself and whatever it may be. So prayerfully got some good stuff. I didn't want to go necessarily this long, but I definitely needed to address it because it's a really important topic and I get the question often. So with that being said, as I take a warm sip of coffee, make sure you visit us at outstandingpersonalrelationships.com, where we share information with our subscribers and email list first, where they get blogs and vlogs and access to different things. And you find out about true queens. and what my wives are doing, Coach Nyla and Coach Fatima.
Okay, fine. So, Jazakallah khair, brother. And like I said, shout out to the brother. And please go to his website and go to his YouTube and like and share and whatever, because you will learn a lot. So, Jazakallah khair for that. So, as you can see, the brother's spoken a lot of good things. So, let's go back to our. Well, let me put some light here now. Let me see. Yeah. Okay, let's go back to the original. Now we're on the 105. So we'll go for about 20 minutes. We'll go to the book for about 20 minutes. But I think you've understood where I'm going. Yeah, the situation we're in today, the crisis that we are in today, we're in a big crisis. Yeah, and whatever we can do to kind of help each other out of this crisis, especially those of us who've got knowledge, those of us who've got knowledge of the deen, who've studied under ulama or whatever, like, under students of knowledge. Well, we will be questioned on the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah. You knew that there was a crisis going on. You had the knowledge for it. You had the books and everything. You read the books, but you didn't share the knowledge. So we will be questioned on the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah. So it's my responsibility to help you with this. Okay, so now we're on page 104. Is jealousy bad? Okay. Most people tend to think of jealousy as a negative or bad emotion. But is it really the case? When we look at emotions, even those we consider negative ones, we can find some type of benefit in each of them. Now, there is one thing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the hadith of the Prophet told us, that we can have good jealousy in us, jealous of someone, for example, who've got the knowledge of deen and would like that knowledge of deen. That is good jealousy. Yeah, that is good jealousy. You're wanting you're thirsty for that knowledge. So it doesn't have to be bad. Yeah, that jealousy doesn't have to be bad. You're wanting what the brother has. You're not wanting his dunya. You're not envying his dunya. You're wanting his knowledge, his wisdom that he has. You're wanting to have that as well. So it's not always bad. All emotions are in fact beneficial, for they serve the purpose in our lives. Dr. Gene Siegel, a psychologist, mentions regarding emotions, they're all informative and often constructive. All deeply felt emotions deliver messages we need to hear. In fact, the root of the word emotion in Latin is the Latin word moter. Moter means to move, and it is actually the emotions that motivate people to do things. To give an example, anger is usually considered a negative emotion, and something preferred to be without. We have been advised by the Prophet, peace be upon him, not to be angry. He said the Prophet ﷺ said to a man upon his request to advise him, never get angry. The request for advice was repeated several times, and each time the Prophet ﷺ answered, never get angry. So in general, anger is something to avoid. However, there are times when anger is good. When one becomes angry for the sake of Allah, that is, become angry upon seeing sins, injustices committed, or oppression in the Muslim world, or killing of Muslims and disbelievers by the disbelievers in wars, then this anger is good. Yeah. So we can see what is happening in front of us in Palestine. We can see what's happening around the world. We can see the oppressions. That anger is building up inside us. That is good anger. That is good anger. There's it's not bad. So like he mentioned, like she the sister who writes this book mentioned jealousy, anger as well. This is what drives people when seeing these things, to advise the sinner to fear Allah, to stand up against injustice, to help the oppressed, or to fight in jihad against an enemy force. So what we normally consider a bad emotion actually has a benefit and purpose to it. Another example of envy, again, most people consider envy to be a bad emotion, and we've been advised against it. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Do not feel envy towards one another." I mean, somebody's got money. We want that money. We want to be rich. We want to be like him. We want to have big houses like him, or whatever. Prophet ﷺ has warned us not to do that. And Allah has told us to seek refuge in Him from the mischief of the envious, as he practices envy. However, the exception of this has been made with regards to two people. Okay, I think I mentioned one earlier on. There is no envy except in two: a person whom Allah has given wealth and he spends it in the right way. Okay, so Allah's given a person a lot of wealth, and he's spending it. He's giving fi sabilillah. He's giving to orphans, giving to what's the name? He's taking other wives or whatever in order to protect them, in order to give them dignity. He's taking another wife who was having problems and whatever, didn't have a husband. He takes her, looks after her children. So he's kind of like spending it in the right way. And then a person whom Allah has given wisdom, like I just said, religious knowledge, and he gives decisions accordingly and teaches it to others. Okay, so you can add envy for this type of person. You can be jealous of these two types of people. Okay, I'd like to remind you once again, you're watching O People of the Book, and I'm doing my Saturday sessions, my usual Saturday sessions, from monogamy to polygyny. I'm trying to help our brothers and sisters who are out there who don't have husbands, who don't have, and brothers who don't have wives, how to go into it, how to do it. This Allah has created for the women. Allah has created this for the women who are suffering, who don't have a husband. And there are good men out there, a lot of good men out there. And those good men could end up looking after these sisters, looking after their children, and giving them dignity, giving them their dignity. So it's very important. In these cases, there's benefit in envy, because it is the envy of these people that pushes a person to seek knowledge of their religion. And it is that envy that drives a person to give of his wealth in charity and unquestionably noble deeds. Okay, so these two things now, it pushes people to go and study the knowledge. When they see this person's got knowledge, and he's sharing it with others, and he's giving good advice to people. He's giving wisdom to people because of his knowledge. That might encourage others. Who don't have knowledge, who say, I'm envious of this brother. I want to take knowledge like him. And also on the other side, somebody who maybe doesn't have much wealth, maybe raising hands and asking Allah, please give me wealth so I can do like brother so and so. Like brother so and so is giving out to people a lot of money or whatever, helping them, giving them jobs, please give me what he has so that I can do like him. Yeah, that's something very important as well. But it has to be only in these two circumstances that envy is accepted. So with regards to jealousy, another emotion considered to be bad, we should be able to find the good in it also. We have, of course, been warned against jealousy. For the Prophet ﷺ said, there has come to you the disease of the nations before you, jealousy and hatred. So these two are considered jealousy of the nations. So the bad jealousy and hatred, is considered disease, according to the Prophet ﷺ. Okay, so generally, jealousy is not something good, but as with other emotions, jealousy does have its benefits, and we find in a hadith that there's actually jealousy that Allah loves. Okay, that Allah loves. The Prophet ﷺ says there is a jealousy which Allah loves and jealousy which Allah hates. That which Allah loves is jealousy regarding the matter of doubt, and that which Allah hates is jealousy regarding that which is not doubtful. Okay, in Awn al-Ma'bud, which is the name of a book. Yeah, I'll have to do a search for that book later on, because I like it when a scholar or somebody who's written a book mentions another book. I like to go and check that book. If it's available on the market, I buy it. If it's not available and it's available from freely in PDF, then I download it and read it to expand my knowledge. So this book now is called Awn al-Ma'bud, and it's written by Shamil Haq Azimabadi. Shamil Haq Azimabadi. I don't know whether it's available in English, I don't know, or Arabic. The explanation of Sunan Abu Dawud, the explanation of this hadith we find is that jealousy Allah loves is that which in his regard to what Allah has prohibited. The example given is that a man's mother or sister does something prohibited, he becomes jealous. The example given is that if a man's mother or sister does something prohibited, he becomes jealous. Allah loves that he's jealous for the religion and feels angry at the disobedience of Allah. Okay, they've done something, prohibited, and he feels jealous of because as a man, you have to have that jealousy in you. You have to have that jealousy in you, that you don't let your wife walk on the street uncovered or whatever, she's covered. So because of your jealousy that you have in you as a man, remember, a man is a provider, is a protector. So being a provider and a protector, obviously he has the right to be jealous there. Yeah. And then he feels angry at the disobedience of Allah. So he feels jealous of what they've done, yeah. But he feels angry at their disobedience of Allah. The jealousy that Allah dislikes is that which is in regards to the things that Allah has made halal. The example given here is that a man's mother becomes single and gets remarried. He becomes jealous and does not like this. However, this marriage is something that is permitted in Islam, so he must be happy with it. Okay, so this type of jealousy, I've been reading in a lot of these groups, like these Facebook groups and everything. People who've been posting ads for marriage. Okay, you get a young son, post a marriage for his mother, but he's jealous of her being getting remarried, and he's asking. It made me laugh actually when I was reading this post. He's asking the people, "Will you get physical contact with my mother?" Which is something that's normal, but she shouldn't be giving him the right to look for a spouse for her. She should be doing it herself. But then he has this thing in him that he doesn't want another man to touch his mother. So, however, this is something that is halal, is permitted in Islam for her to get remarried. Okay, so it's permitted in Islam for her to get remarried, and he shouldn't be jealous. Thus, it is very serious thing to hate which Allah has permitted. Okay. So you hate them. You don't want the man to touch your mother, but Allah has permitted the husband to touch the wife. Yeah. So this is it. Okay, we're going to read this last paragraph, and then we're going to finish on page 107 here. So this hadith is referring to the jealousy for the sake of Allah, which is a good type of jealousy in that causes a person to defend Allah's honor. Thus, we see that jealousy is not completely bad emotion, but as was distinguished earlier, the jealousy of a woman is different from the jealousy for the sake of Allah. Very interesting here. Yeah. The woman gets jealous because of her emotions. Obviously, like, Allah has created her with these emotions, and she gets jealous, because of the other wife. The other wife, like, both of them have emotions. That's different. But the jealousy for the sake of Allah, you feel jealous because of somebody's done something, that they shouldn't have done, and as protection, you're jealous. I should have looked after them. I should have stopped them from doing this. So you're jealous now for the sake of Allah, for defending Allah's honor. Thus, we see that jealousy is not completely bad emotion, but as was distinguished earlier, the jealousy of a woman is different from the jealousy for the sake of Allah. And an interesting point comes to mind when discussing the jealousy of a woman. Here is something that Allah has created within the creation of the woman. Okay, so Allah has created that within the creation of a woman, and she cannot, we have spoken in the last chapters that I've done, the last episode that I've done, how the woman should control her emotions, how the woman should control her jealousy. Okay. Because something that's innate in her, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created her with that. She cannot do anything about it, and that is part of her creation. Okay, we can finish on here, or we'll finish in the next part, which goes on to page the first paragraph of page 8, because it's related to this. It is part of a woman's nature to be jealous. But at the same time, Allah has allowed men to have up to 4 wives. Okay, so Allah has created the women that way. She's natural. It's natural that she will become jealous. But at the same time, that's the way Allah has created men. Allah has created men with the responsibility in him. Allah has created him to be the protector, to be the protector and the provider. So that jealousy is different. This obviously presents a test for women in polygyny to be able to constructively deal with their jealous natures. But is there also a benefit in the natural jealousy of a woman? Okay, but is there also a benefit? That's a question asked. I think we'll finish on this. We'll finish on 108. And like I said, I don't like to keep it going too long, but this is an education thing. I'm trying my best to educate my brothers and sisters, on this issue of polygyny. A lot of it needs to go on. There's, brothers and sisters out there. There's a lot of ladies out there who need husbands, and who are having serious problems. I know there are ladies who are having serious financial problems, who cannot get their finances in place. They need a man to look after them and everything. So that's why me, as a brother who's studied, so it's my responsibility to share my knowledge with you. So. And obviously, like I said, that's why sometimes, because it's educational, that's why it goes on. We're on the 122 here. We'll finish here. And whatever thing that I've said that is wrong, it comes from me. I'm weak. I'm a human. And whatever good you got from this comes from Allah. So we'll end here. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Subhana rabbika bi izzati amma yasifun wa salamun alal mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And I will see you again, inshallah, next week, if everything goes well. Inshallah, I'll see you next week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.